Hey guys, it's Joey here with Harold.
Hi!
Today we're going to talk the top Stranger Things theories
Top
going
three.
on in the interwebs right now.
Yes.
We have our own favorite, I think. I think both of ours.
Yeah, I think it works well with also that duality concept of... Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But we're huge fans of the show. We're excited to see where it's going to go next.
Cannot wait for season 2.
And so we're gonna discuss the top theories for season 2 and season 3 and however many they're gonna do. Our first one is the
Most obvious one that we've seen a bunch of times already.
All right, you take it away.
All right, so we've seen it a bunch of times. You've probably seen it on your Facebook feed. The most obvious one is the duality complex. That not only do we have one monster, but in fact 11 is actually the monster herself.
Yeah, this is one of the most popular theories. I feel like this is probably the one that makes the most sense and is probably the most canon.
Yes.
I feel like it's pretty obvious. They set it up in very obvious ways. There's just duality throughout the whole thing. There's black. It's all about the black and white, the ups
and the
and the
upside
downs,
downs.
and the ups and the upside downs.
Exactly.
You have the Demogorgon, two-headed. I mean, it's just the show's full of twos, and 11. You could say 11 is the monster. 11
and in fact, 11 by
monster.
itself is 2 1s.
Yeah.
So it's simply
It's
automatically a mirror. And since we have the upside down, the fact that we see it in a mirror universe, and the fact that 11, when she goes into her conscious state and is able to go and break out and find the monster, she doesn't see the monster in the world that she sees, that we usually see the monster. She sees the monster in a pure pitch of black, which could suggest that she, in fact, is so psychologically powerful that she does, in fact, create the monster herself without even trying to.
She basically unlocks her subconscious. And her subconscious, you could say the subconscious is that monster.
And she is a very abused young girl. Let's put it that way.
There's terrors in there. It's almost all terrors.
So what happens when you take a bunch of terror and mix it in? You get a terror monster.
And what are kids most scared of? They're scared of monsters.
And they're scared
of the
dark.
So the manifestation of all her fears is the Demogorgon.
And the fact of the matter is, when you sit down and look at it, it's a monster without a face, which means she's not exactly sure what she's afraid of.
Exactly.
Which would thus create this whole thing of maybe she's afraid of whatnot, or herself, or even flowers. And I want to see whether or not, and actually they make a mention of flowers later on at the end of the series. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. Like, what about the flowers in the cave? Well, if you really look at the actual Demogorgon itself, or whatever we want to call the monster, it opens up as a flower does. Mm-hmm. So that's even another branching idea of what that goes on.
I mean, it's fantastic, character design, monster design, but it's also, I mean, its likeness is too much to go ignored. I mean, we see a lot of monster movies and alien movies where they're just sort of cool designs, but I feel like with Stranger Things, it's so much more than just a cool monster design.
All right, so we're going to go to number 2, but that is not our done. Number 2, the one that we kind of came up with very quickly, or I came up with last night almost, I want to say, which kind of works a lot with the duality construct, is that Will Byers has cancer. Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to think about it this way. Will is taken. If we look at cancer as a construct from the style of children of seeing cancer from the eyes of little kids, their best friend goes away for a while. They're looking to try and find them, and throughout the entire series, Will looks sick. From the moment that we see him at the first second,
he looks frail.
He's actually described as he's a frail boy by his mother,
and which I mean. You see all his friends, and they're running around. They're strong kids or healthy kids.
Now, he does beat his one friend in a bike race at the beginning. But other than that, from that moment on, Will's entire thing has been running from something, running from a monster that he can't exactly get away from. And then when it takes him away not only from his family, but from his friends.
Yeah.
We can even further out into this one. The fact of the matter is, Hopper is the one who saves Will. He finds Will and he brings him back. And the one thing that we know about Hopper from that exact moment, bringing back our duality construct, is that Hopper watches his daughter die of cancer. He watched her die of leukemia, as far as we can figure out.
They haven't told us exactly what sickness it is. He knows.
Yes.
What sickness it is. I remember the actor said it on Twitter. He knows what the daughter had. But that's going to be left up to season 2 or season 3, whichever way they want to do it. But it's most likely, I feel like it's just from looking at her the way they did the makeup and the whole situation. It seemed very cancerous.
And I'll follow this up with something else, even if you're like, this is kind of a weird idea this guy had. Let's think about it this way. 11 shows up, and she shows up at the exact moment that Will is gone. And when 11 shows up, she looks as though she's a cancer patient. And that is not because, and we can argue that there's a whole lot of different types of cancer patients, and the girl who plays 11 she's so, like, cute and adorable.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that, but the fact is she is in a hospital gown, she has very short hair, she is very gaunt and very, almost a stereotypical look that if she was a Pokemon evolution, then the next step up is Hazel Grace from Fault in Our Stars. So when we take that into consideration as well, and I had another one. The one thing that really threw this concept off for me was the fact that when Will is taken, we don't know how the Demogorgon works yet, but when we find out that it's like a shark and it attacks blood, what is wrong with Will? Why is Will taken? Because he's not bleeding at any point. Unless, of course, there is something going on with him, which would also say why 11, to further the other point that we had before, knows who Will is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I mean, she has access to the place. I mean, mentally, she has access to the place where he is, the upside down. But it could be more. It could be more than that.
It could be.
It couldn't just be that she's tapping and she sees him there.
It could almost be like he was chosen almost by her, especially if we really think about 11 as the monster. Look at the facts in the end result. Will is taken in and he's put into those little pods things, which, granted, yes, we're setting him up to be like taken over by these parasites. And yes, at the end of the episode, we do see him spitting up these slugs.
And he gets like that sort of reverberation into the upside down.
Exactly. Now we know about that. So let's think about that for a second. He was put on a life-preserving system to keep him alive so that way it could harness him. Go on, that's very obvious. Let's move that further. Him having those moments, those breakdowns from chemo, almost as though those monsters themselves are like a chemo that break down the problems of his blood. He throwing up in the middle of the room like 3 weeks later. Him having the flashbacks into what it feels like in the pain. All of these things we could very simply put down to childhood cancer and leukemia and the effects of chemo.
I mean, I know firsthand. I've seen it firsthand what chemo does to young people, almost any age, really.
Hashtag hard April.
Yeah, but it just there's a very heavy tone of sickness, illness going on, and I was talking to him about it. The upside down might actually be keeping Will alive,
which would set up a whole concept of maybe we have to move Will back into the upside down.
Maybe he'll have to go back to the upside down
to save him fully. It's all these possibilities, and that could show up in a season 2 or season 3.
This is one that might be a little far-fetched. We might be reaching a little bit, but I feel like there's definitely a lot of weight here. Yes. And it's definitely maybe a turn that a lot of the audiences might see. It's very supernatural, very sci-fi.
Yes, it is.
So,
obviously,
to make a good story, it's a very very special storytelling technique to make all this crazy stuff be seated in something super realistic and super relatable.
Cool. Exactly.
And then how do you make how do you beat cancer in like the real world? Like it's going to be very.
It's a huge thing.
It's dark, but I think it's going to be hopeful. We're going to see Will, if this is true, have to go back to the upside down because the poison of the upside down is the chemo he needs. So it
might be the thing keeping him alive in the first place.
So it's possible that the upside down that 11 created, maybe maybe she hadn't realized it, but she was actually making a weird cure even. But in making that, she also manifested her fear. Like she wants to help like sickness. So there's this place with all the ingredients to like kill sickness, but then she's also along with that came the Demogorgon.
I mean, you can add in the fact that
it's like brain vomit. Like
you think about the fact that throughout her entire life, the only thing that's been around her has been doctors mostly, and doctors and hospitals. Now, granted, her version of a doctor in a hospital is gonna be different than what our version is because hers is being like tested on, but still, it's a construct that maybe she does want to do good things. And with her father figure, the weird man in the white with the white hair,
Who may or may not be dead.
Who may or may not be dead. With his entire thing being like, you're gonna change the world, we're gonna make the world better. It could have spawned something inside of Eleven's mindset.
Like, I'm assuming at some point she actually believed in what he was saying, and that they were trying to make the world a better place. She might have started trying to build a world that might have helped in some way, but she was also very, scared and alone and sad. So it might have manifested in this very gothic, dark, disgusting looking place. But that might not have been the original intention when she was, manifesting this.
But granted, this is all speculation, and it's stuff that we don't have full information for, but it's an idea that there's a lot of weight behind. If you don't agree with us, if you agree with us, tell us in the comments. Have fun with that. I almost became Rick from Rick and Morty for a second.
Let us know your theories. If there's any you've heard, or if you have your own theories about...
Oh, we promised the third one, so we'll give it to you. It's very simple.
Right.
Steve, he's a father. Joey?
And the daddy. You all know John Ralphio
from Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Rec. Steve has a likeness that is a lot like Ben Schwartz.
Yes.
So we're thinking Stranger Things might be a Parks and Rec prequel.
And also, if you really think about it, him being played by him becoming Henry Winkler, not that off key, if you really think about it.
I mean, they have the nose.
Yeah, they do.
That was just a fun little...
Yeah, I wish we had a better third one. I was trying to think of one, but like that's...
These were the best two that we heard of.
Yeah.
So, he came up originally with what was Sick theory, and we sort of just talked about it, and we came up with all this stuff, which we probably could talk about in length. And there's the original one. The original theory. Both of these theories might actually... They work together. They're not standalone theories. These theories can actually mesh. Something could be totally out of left field, not even a thing. But
does Eleven ever actually come in contact with
Will? No,
I didn't think so.
They don't get him back until she's already gone. So.
Yes, exactly. That's what I thought about
that. Like at the same time that she's fighting the Demogorgon at the school, Hopper and his mom are going to save him. So
exactly.
So
yeah, guys, we've gone too far over this. We could have just cut this probably about 5 minutes ago. But what do you think?
Yeah, let us know in the comments below what your theories are. If you love Stranger Things, if you hated Stranger Things, which I don't.
We want to have a different conversation.
I don't really know anybody that hates it. Yeah. But let us know what you think. If you buy into this, Will has cancer thing.
Or Will has some sort of sickness that is cancer-like.
Or maybe 11. If you believe 11 is still alive, which I think.
Oh yeah,
I think she is. I don't think it's done. If you think there's any more monsters, if you think these two theories are totally bunk, and it's not as psychological or in depth as we're making it out to be.
If you want to talk about the D&D games and try to figure out how the D&D games factor in, please.
that last game might be a hint to what season 2 is.
Yes, or it could just be questioning whether or not and how everything goes forward. But we have a multi-headed Hydra. What might happen?
Exactly. 3. That's gonna be season 2. Is gonna be maybe a series of 3s maybe. We'll see. I feel like numbers play a huge part in this. So, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and bye.